They're really pleased, they always have been. Like they both play music, so not for a living. My dad's who was in the pharmaceutical business, strangely enough. But they've always encouraged all of us, like there's four in our family, to express ourselves. So my house was the house that you would have come back to after school. So it's very kind of open house. My dad made very excellent homemade beer when I was about 13, so I was very popular for that alone, I think. I had a huge circle of friends at 13. I played in a group called the Crawley Goat Band.
The Crawley Goat?
Goat Band, yeah. It was like I forget the name of the type of music. It's when you have like a bottle going woo 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 woo. Yeah, you don't have a bass. I can't remember the name. Bob Kerr's Whoopee Band actually played. That's how
I know what you mean.
It's that kind of music. It's really just drunken music.
Don't worry, be happy.
Yeah.
Bobby McFerrin.
They were all like in their kind of mid to late 20s, and I was like in my early teens. Me and my little sister were in it. She played piano, accordion, and I played strumming acoustic guitar and watched. And, well, I mean, the advantage of having an older brother is that you get to smoke dope really early. You get to stay up late watching television, and you get to read really good books, or have good books read to you. The disadvantage is you get to listen to music that you shouldn't really listen to at that age. And you get ideas put into your head that you shouldn't really have in your head at that age. And Nick Drake was part of part of that. I mean, it's incredibly depressing. An awful lot of Nick Drake. It's really like hopeless, just the whole sound of it. And I remember listening.
Especially the last.
Yeah, I mean, at like 10 years old, hearing that, it's kind of, I was giving up. I was 10 years old, and I said, yeah, life is pointless. But really meant it. And I look back, and it seems funny, but for about a year, between like 10 and 11, I was really, really depressed. It was like clinically depressed, and it was just because of the music that my brother was playing with. My family were quite good about it. My dad was very understanding. Threw my brother out, kept me. I still like Nick Drake though. Yeah. It's a shame that all the best people kill themselves. Sitting in the back of a Bedford van eating Kentucky Fried Chicken on the way back from supporting Wire at Kent University, Canterbury, is my most vivid memory of when I thought I was in a proper group. Up until that, it'd just been like make-believe, because we played just in and around Crawley, and we knew everyone that came to see us, and they were in bands, we went to see them, and it was all kind of, And that's the very first time we stepped outside of our environment and played in front of an audience that had come to see another band.
I would say I'm sorry if I thought that it would change your mind, but I know that this time I have said too much, been too unkind. I tried to laugh about it, cover it all up with lies. I tried to laugh about it, hiding the tears in my eyes. 'Cause boys
started with pop. I mean, it's like when we very first started, we did like Boys Don't Cry. And it was really, that's why it's always been the wrong way round. We actually started out with just like 2.5-minute pop songs, and then kind of like fell into this incredibly morose, like, gloomy, intense, difficult group. And it was all the wrong way round, and still no one knew what we were doing. It was all just like taking place in our world. And then I kind of clawed my way back out of it, and then started again with Let's Go to Bed. And suddenly, like, everyone took notice, or particularly in America, suddenly it was like we became something. And up to that point, we had like a kind of a hardcore following all around the world, because we'd been to Australia, New Zealand twice, and New York, well, in fact, both sides of America. In fact, all across America by the time we released Pornography.
See into the trees, find the girl, what you can, closer and see into the dark, just follow your eyes, just follow your eyes.
So I was kind of like ingested every drug known to man, and I just got completely obliterated, really. And Let's Go to Bed was like a salvation for me. It was just like, because I took myself so seriously as well, and at such a young age, I just like thought I was like a tortured artist. I was kind of like, I say it's funny now. I mean, at the time, I was like, I was living that life, you know, and that's what I wanted to do. I was doing it for my own sake, but I took a step away from it and realised that what I was doing was like killing myself and killing the group as well. I thought it was a bit of a shame. So.
Eyes outside of the sky look as perfect as cats. Two of us together again, it's just the same, a stupid game. But I don't care if you don't, and I don't feel if you don't, and I don't want it if you don't, and I won't say it if you won't say it.
Because Boys Don't Cry was a really good pop song, and no one ever took any notice of it. And Jumping Someone Else's Train was a really good pop song, and no one ever took any notice of it. So Let's Go to Bed was like my last attempt to like say, look, this is like The Cure, we're a pop group, and suddenly it worked. So it's good. The weird thing was that we carried on doing pop songs after that for for about a year, but we already had this history of being really dark and miserable that a lot of people didn't know about, and that's why it's been a very kind of weird history. Most groups start off really happy and get famous, and then they want to be taken seriously. And with us, it almost happened the other way round. We had this underground reputation for being really difficult and miserable, and then we did a pop song, and suddenly everyone's like, said, "Oh, are they a pop group? What are they?" And that's that kind of what I've wanted to keep going with The Cure, like all the time since then, and so that no one ever really knows what we're supposed to be doing. I think a lot of what we've done is serious. There have been moments when we've kind of like you know, rarely, but more often than a lot of other groups have hit something that really does move people, and I'm very aware of like never demeaning that by becoming like too stupid. Like, to kind of like think we are actually really, really funny, you know, like we're really a pop band, and that's just like an accident. Because I think what lies at the core of what we do is that serious side, and it is those. Serious is the wrong word. It's just something that's got like an emotional depth to it. So the people around me react like without thought of like it's just like what I'm supposed to be like. So, but in the songs there is a certain contrivance which is like without being. You know, it sounds dumb because whenever you use the word poetic or poetry, it always sounds really, really dumb. But there's something in the songs that I have to like. I'm piecing together not just a persona, but it has to work with a piece of music. Because I'm not writing poetry. I'm not saying like this is me, this is how I am. I'm singing songs. And there is a huge difference. And some other people, I mean, an awful lot of people that I meet just like when the group does something, they want me to be something that I'm not. And most of the time I just like think, well, I have to disappoint you because I'm not that person. I don't know anything. I'm not going to enlighten you. I have no answers. But there might be an occasion when I go along with it and I pretend that I'm something that I'm not. And then they go and they tell, and it's that exponential growth of like saying, oh, you won't believe what he did. You know, he pulled 4 eggs out of his mouth. And it's that kind of mythologising I can kind of understand, because people seem to need it. But I'm not that person. I'm nothing to do with it, really. I've retained like 4 friends from my teenage years, which is probably more than most people. And I think I've only retained them because I've really fought very hard to kind of retain. It sounds really strange, but I wanted to prove to them and to myself and to prove to each other that it doesn't matter what you do. It's just like that. What drew us to each other, like at that age, should be able to transcend. And hopefully, when we get even older than I am now, that there will be like a, you know, I'll get them. It's still quite difficult because their children have pictures of me on their wall, which is, you know, they find that very difficult. I find it fucking weird, actually. So, I mean, because what I'm doing, it's not like a normal disadvantage to losing friends from an early age. It's that you don't have enough in common to talk about, and you develop like a different social environment, different set of friends, and you really, all the things that held us together at school kind of disappear, even like through college or whatever. But with me, it's been difficult because they're aware of what I've supposedly, who I am, what I've become, what I've done, in a very obvious way. You know. 2 of them think it's really good, and 2 of them think it's really shit.
Show me how you do it, and I promise that I'll run away with you. I'll run away with you.
I think Disintegration was a brilliant album as well. I think Pornography was a brilliant album for different reasons. But it's like, if I get into it, like for different reasons, they're all really good for me because they're like personal things. There are bits in each record that kind of really resonate in me, and they take me back to times and places that I'm able to almost like relive certain things through the records. Sometimes like I don't want to.
In the gathering gloom, and suddenly over in the corner of the room, and there is nothing I can do.
There is no real sense of ego in the group, including me. When I'm with, it's very different when I'm doing this and I'm like the mouthpiece of the group, and I do like front everything we do. When we're kind of shut in the other room, we're playing. It's a very equally voiced beast that occurs. I don't get my own way anywhere near as much as I should.
Your face, if you walk in a crowd you won't leave any trace. It's always the same, you jump in someone else's train. It won't take you long to learn the new smile. You have to adapt or you'll be out of style. It's always the same, you jump in someone else's train.
I was never really good friends with Lawrence, even though we we lived like 2 streets away, and I was kind of aware of him when I was 5. We used to get on the same school bus. But at school, and it's probably the same the world over, the school's kind of like split, where it's divided 2 ways and 2 levels, and one's like people who like reading and people who don't, people who want to learn and people who don't, and the underneath bit is like people who like or whatever the sport is, or people who don't. And depending which camp you kind of fall into, it determines who your friends are. And I really liked football at school, and I played football at every opportunity. I loved it, and I still do. And Lowell wouldn't even be able to tell you how many players are in a football team. If it taught me a lesson, it was that drugs and alcohol can damage your brain, really. He changed like so wildly that it was terrifying. I mean, by 1986, I'd given up talking to Lowell. So had everyone else that was in the group. And he had embraced that kind of yuppie ideal that existed around that time, particularly in London and probably elsewhere in Europe, Scandinavia. You know, that kind of what you drove was what you were. And it's so by the time he left the group, I had no feelings at all. Having said that, it was pretty strange walking into court on the first day and kind of seeing him there in a suit and, you know, with his lawyers around him. It's kind of sad, but I was really angry and still am, because he took 6 months out of my life with that court case.
I don't care if Monday's blue, Tuesday's grey and Wednesday too. Thursday, I don't care about you, it's Friday, I'm in love. Monday, you can fall apart. Tuesday, Wednesday, break my heart. Oh, Thursday doesn't even start, it's Friday, I'm in love.
I think that the Wish album was the most listenable, most instantly accessible, but also probably had more depth and more scope, maybe not more depth. Had more variety than anything else we've done.
Everyone feels good in a room. She swims. Too cool in a head. She sings. A buzzing like them killer bees. Tell me this is not for real. Please tell me this is not for real.
I think I've reached a point lyrically, and I think the group as well, if anyone's been interested in the group over a period of time, will have developed a kind of sense of who I am through the lyrics.
Is it important for you to show what you do, show your lyrics, and hear your wife Mary's comments on it?
No, she never has before. That's why it's really weird. First time I've ever written anything that she's kind of, you know, and I've written a lot of weird stuff, but she kind of, that's, you know, she knows. I mean, she knows me. That's the whole point. You know, if I didn't do this and I wasn't like I am, she wouldn't love me like she does.
But it seems to take an hour for her to reach the floor, and the two cool still grooves.
That's the first time ever in me writing songs that Mary's ever questioned anything that I've written. She actually had to ask me. Normally she just bites her lip and puts it down to experience. But there's such a big change in my perspective that she had to worry. But it isn't really. It's that part of what I was trying to do with the record was to write more from like a group point of view, which is that because we've been living together, I've had a lot of conversations and discussions as well as disagreements about a lot of things with the other members of the group, that I wanted to put some of that into the songs rather than always just like have the last word and put my own point of view. So there's 2 or 3 songs that I don't actually believe in, and it's quite weird to sing them. And This Is a Lie is the most obvious one, because I mean it's like an anti-monogamy song. The thing that I'm actually like really happy at the moment. I've been for like about a year and a half, deliriously happy. But once just like a facet of there's also like there's a thing in the group that there's something about the new lineup of the group that has that kind of like grasping quality, which is sort of like a new. I remember it from when I very first started. It's like a new group, like it wants things. It seems funny to be in a group after all this time. It has that character. I just want more from life, and I think that's a good thing. I like people that are like that. The people that are in the group, the people that are around me, that are friends, all have that in common, that they're never satisfied.
Into the sea, you and me, all the years and no one heard. Monday you can hold your head. Tuesday, Wednesday, stay in bed. On Thursday, watch the walls instead. It's Friday, I'm in love. Yeah, but it feels good. Do it to me, do it to me, do it to me, feels good. Do it to me, do it to me, do it to me, feels good.